This meeting. First, I need to get a motion to approve the minutes of the May 29th meeting. Member Daly, Member Coates, any corrections or changes? I guess that's the same thing. All right. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next, we'll go on to informational items. First, we have the Board of Health. No, you're not doing that. She's gone. She's on vacation, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we will skip care and treatment and go right to EMA. All right. Welcome, Jason.
Good afternoon. So you do have in front of you, I gave you my monthly report submitted on time this month. So pretty much standard operating procedures, really. There was a couple of things in here I was going to highlight would be with regards to severe weather. And in fact, there's nothing in this about the severe weather we had. I think it would have been a week ago Monday for the submission on this, but we did have obviously a number of tornadoes throughout the county a week ago Monday night. So our meeting attendance, trainings, we did go to some biological incident training. Additionally, working on some more exercises as we continue to build out on some of these. The interesting thing with the one exercise is, in fact, you'll probably see a change with the active assailant exercise with Peoria Public Schools. We've identified the opportunity to have some additional training in the community. I can't use the acronym, that's not fair to you. So the active shooter incident management training, and then there's a school safety, violent events, incident management. So their trainings geared for law enforcement and school and community personnel with respect to the incidents of violence within a school. We did that training in June of this year, and it was fairly well receptive well enough from many of our counterparts or from many colleagues that we're going to try to do that training again in March of 2025. And then they have an advanced training that we've got scheduled for June, either June or July of 25. And we're just going to push the exercise off because I guess to use an analogy, we were just putting an exercise ahead of training or cart in front of the horse. And so so you'll see some changes with that in case you've been keeping track of that exercise now. The equipment, outdoor warning sirens. We did have a number of outdoor warning sirens during our last storm. They worked, but then the following day because there was so much power outage, there were a number of sirens that we did some work on last week. And in fact, we still have one siren we're trying to kind of decipher a problem with. Most of the problems, sirens came back after a day of having power back and the chargers getting an opportunity to charge batteries up. We submitted all of our grants, so we're all in compliance with IDPH. And then the regroup mass notification system. So we had in the past used a mass notification system as a community, and I don't know if I mentioned this last month, but we're just changing from one contractor or vendor to another, and we're going to be going to regroup. It's going to provide us some additional tools to send notifications out, not only to our team members, but to the public should that become necessary. So be able to send information out to if people still have landline phones, so through like a reverse 911, in addition to the mobile phones. And we'll also be able to target some of those things a little bit more detailed eventually once we get this fully implemented. So that's all I have for my EMA report. And I don't know if the resolution's on here, if I'm supposed to stick around for that.
We'll have you come back.
Cool.
But don't we have something going on Thursday, right?
Oh, yes, I should mention the emergency expo. I don't know if Gretchen's here to share with that. She should get all the credit for doing the emergency expo, but Thursday night at the shops at Grand Prairie will be our annual emergency expo where there's dozens, if not, there's a lot of people, a lot of agencies, first responding agencies, a lot of equipment. Again, I think we mentioned in the past that for an hour before, we're doing a sensory hour this year, so we're going to try that out. It's low key, so sirens, lights, all those things at a much more minimal basis for individuals that maybe just the other environment may be threatening to them or a little bit too much to deal with. And then, because again, if you haven't, in the news, it's typically been there. So if you don't get an opportunity to come see us, watch the news on Thursday night and you'll see, I mean, it's chaotic. If you like kids and lots of noise, then this is the place for you to be Thursday night. So
And what time is the sensory hour?
2:30 to 3:30 for the sensory hour
Okay.
in the parking lot adjacent. So you'll see us there. And I think it's in north of Dix, is that correct? Yeah. And then the other part will be west, the other Dix parking lot.
And then are you still looking for volunteers for that event?
We're always looking for volunteers. So if you have people interested, Gretchen or I will find something for them to do.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I have a comment.
Oh, yes. go
Yeah,
ahead.
Mark, I would just like to say, on Monday, when we had that severe storm and all that, I can appreciate the sirens were very loud, they worked, and even on my phone, the warning message just very noticeable. So I just want to say thank you. I know there's others involved, but thank you.
Oh, yes, I thank you. And just briefly, I guess, with respect to that, our software system, when the warning was issued by the Weather Service, issues that our sirens go off. So that's a real benefit of us and the board agreeing, for allow us to use that software system because we got early indication. We didn't need spotters on the ground seeing things. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have the Regional Office of Education. Welcome back, Beth.
Can you believe it's back to school time?
No,
Are your kids ready?
we're ready. I got one there right now.
You got a week.
They're there for band camp.
Teachers start Monday in Peoria Public Schools, and the kiddos are Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember. So tick tock. Oh, that went fast. So in preparation for that, just letting you know, I've shared in your update that Safety Day is coming. And I always like to remind you that this is an annual event. We've been hosting this now for over a decade where we get together with all of our partners from the Sheriff's Department to Monica to you name it. We've got people coming to share with all of local building administration our best safety practices and a review of the year, kind of like a what happened, what could we do better. So we do that every year, and that is coming on August 2nd. In line with that, sort of, I got tapped by a group of folks that are getting together to start a community-wide conversation on Wait Until 8. Has anybody heard of it? It's been all over the Today Show. Wait Until 8 is trying to wait until 8th grade to get a smartphone. It's a national campaign. And in case you'd have to be not paying attention to know that this is not a big topic of conversation for Peoria Public Schools is going to attempt to use pouches this year. So Wait Until 8 is a national campaign that says for mental health and for all the reasons. The Wait Until 8 campaign, I sat in on the conversation, but I will be bringing more of that to you should that gain some legs. And it might be something that we want to talk about and to consider promoting because it's a great idea. Smartphone. I mean, I know they may need a flip phone to call you when they're done with 5th grade running practice, but it's a conversation worth having. The phone conversation though, you'll have to come to my office. We'll probably wind up 2-3 hours talking about whether or not these pouches are going to work. Just so you know, we tried them at Peoria Regional Learning Center. We used the Yonder pouches before COVID. We had too much problem at the end of the day the technology of that product is like when you buy clothes at the store, that metal piece, okay? And you know how they have to put it over the thing at the counter? That's how a Yonder pouch works. You cannot open that bad boy, believe me, I tried, without the big metal device that you wanded over to open it. That bogged us down a little bit, so we went to Office Max and we bought padded envelopes and like library cards. We write the kid's name on it, and then next year we cross off Jennifer, and then we write Steve, and then we cross off Steve, and then we write Beth, and we put them in our safe. That's how we do it at Peoria Regional. But we have had great success with no cell phones for years, and so interesting conversation. Truancy, we are already gearing up for truancy work this year. I'm going to be updating you on this every time because it is the Peoria County's responsibility to deal with truancy. So we are going to join Peoria Public Schools in truancy walks this week. We are going to preemptively try to get to some of these homes of what we call yellow kids, meaning they weren't in the green last year with good attendance. They were in the yellow warning area, and we're going to knock on doors and remind them, hey, school starts. Love to see you there. Make sure you have your immunizations, et cetera, et cetera. So we're doing that this week. And we went to the principals meeting last week to remind them what all of our policies are. I wanted you to know we had great professional learning this entire summer. There's still some going on. It's been one of our best years yet. And last but not least, this is one of the very first years where I've had a turnover in superintendents. So we have 3 new ones. That's pretty significant for our area. We just don't have turnover. So you have a new superintendent at Limestone Community High School. You have a new superintendent at Elmwood, and you have a new superintendent at Limestone Walters. And I've met all 3 of them, and they are ready to go. And there's a lot of new leadership at the principal level as well.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Okay. Next, we have sustainability and resources. Hello, Becca.
Good afternoon. I just have a few updates or calling a couple things out in the agenda brief. The Household Hazardous Waste event that traditionally we've held in the spring this year. The IEPA did have some delays in finding a contractor. We were not granted one this fall, but are on the short list for the spring, which would mean we would have just skipped 2024. But there is a long list for the fall. And Bloomington does have one on September 28th, so we will publicize that information to residents that are calling and asking, and then let them know that we should have one in the spring. Recycle Coach under Education and Community. I'm really excited about that. Spoke about it a little bit at the last committee meeting, but I don't believe I had information in there. We were able to see the dashboard for Peoria County. It's not up and running yet, but nearly there. So following that, then we will reach out to municipalities and get some information from them and ask them to populate some of their information or how we can support them in populating that information. But a great app website that we'll link to on our own site to help people figure out where to take all types of items that are recyclable or harder to dispose of, as well as there's like games and quizzes and an education tool as well. So really excited about that. We do have a newsletter on the website and are starting to re-email that newsletter out. We had some issues with our the database we used for the newsletter. Communications was smart enough to move away from it earlier than us. But there is a subscription form on the website. We'll also be promoting that a little bit to try to get people to resubscribe. But that newsletter is on the website. Township Supervisor Group did meet this month, and a couple board members did attend, which was nice. The Soil and Water Conservation District was able to fill in and do a last-minute presentation when another speaker couldn't be there. And then in October, we're looking forward to Jason Marks being there to talk a little bit about batteries, storage, and just emergency management planning for our townships. The Landfill Committee section needs a little bit of an update in that they did not meet on the 17th. The Landfill Committee meeting was postponed and no date is known yet. Regional Food Council next meeting is August 2nd with a focus on production. So OSF Garden Manager Mike Brooks will be talking then, as well as some Stewardship Alliance information will be given out too. They're doing the big 50-year celebration coming up soon. And that's what I have, unless there, oh, actually one more thing. The Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant, we did receive that $100,000. So we will be moving forward with that. Now I'm ready for questions.
And Kusakowski's in their new location?
Yes, they are in their new location. They opened over a month ago. And so their first Saturday event was this past Saturday, and they'll continue to do once a month Saturday event for us, which we appreciate. And 6311 Development Drive, right by the jail.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you. All right, next we have our quarterly update from the Center for Prevention of Abuse. And John is here. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Worsham, and I am the Regional Ombudsman at the Center for Prevention of Abuse. And something as I look over the statistics page that's in your packet, I want to apologize. This is for the second quarter, April through June of 2024. However, the date that this report was prepared was July 15th of 2024. The month and the year were both wrong on the top qualifier on that page. This has been the best quarter so far during our agreement, during our alliance with the county. As you know, you folks have funded a full-time ombudsman. That word ombudsman is a fancy word that just means resident advocate. They go into all the nursing homes within Peoria County, this particular ombudsman does, along with our regular presence from our other 5 full-time ombudsmen. And these are some of the benchmarks that we look for. By far, everything across the board was incredible numbers, and I'm thankful for the work that our people do. When they give information to individuals, those are people that either live in the nursing home or they have family, or people that call our office with complaints because of the bus that you funded. We get calls every week from that. Some of those calls we can't help, but we're able to refer them to other agencies, and we keep track of those calls as well. I wanted to share, I'm not going to read all those numbers. You can certainly read those yourself, but I did want to give you a few brief success stories that might give you a little better idea of what we do. That big fancy word ombudsman simply translates into helping our seniors navigate daily life to make life better for them in a nursing home or assisted living center. We had a resident in Peoria County that had no family or friends in the area and wanted to move to a facility in another town. That town, I can tell you without breaching confidentiality, was Bloomington. No employees in that facility were willing to help make the move possible, and the family members in Peoria were not willing to help this resident in any way. Our Peoria County Ombudsman handled this case, and she got the permission of the resident. She went out to the facility and finally found a social worker that was willing to help, an activity director that was willing to help. And lo and behold, after many months, within just a few days, we were able to see that this resident was transferred to a new facility in Bloomington where they had the help of family that could visit them and take care of them. Now, that may not seem like a big thing, but for that resident, it meant everything to have a family member there. We had a resident in a Peoria County facility that had a broken wheelchair that had missing wheel bearings. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a wheelchair, but when they work right, they're debilitating. I have multiple sclerosis, and there are times I have to use a wheelchair, and it's not a pretty sight, even when things go well. Well, this facility was unwilling to help fix that chair. Our ombudsman received permission from the resident to advocate for the repair of the wheelchair. And during our investigation, we found out that the resident was not only eligible for a repair, this resident was eligible for a fully funded replacement on that wheelchair. And the resident was really excited. He was able to receive a new replacement chair. It's much safer and it's more comfortable and gives him a feeling of well-being. And one last little tidbit, our biggest complaint in long-term care Our biggest complaint every month is diet. The good facilities can be said they're comparable to a restaurant in many ways, but in those facilities, we still get complaints. If you've ever been to just a skilled nursing facility, some of the more difficult ones, you've maybe complained about hospital food. Well, nursing home food is much below that. Well, this particular facility refused to serve any fresh fruits or vegetables in any of their meals throughout the month. And that wasn't just a complaint. We were able to verify that it was true. This complaint was brought up at a resident council meeting where our people go and attend, and we just hear the complaints, kind of like the forum that you may have in some of your meetings that you attend. And that complaint was brought up, and our ombudsman received permission to advocate, spoke with the dietary manager, and our people are very persuasive. And we were able to see that fresh fruits and vegetables were immediately added to the diet, and residents are very appreciative of that. And many of these things, we have successes every single day, and many of those are because of our partnership. And I can't impress upon you the importance of that partnership and the difference it's made to residents in Peoria County.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for John? Well, thank you again for all the
Yes,
work that you
sir.
do.
Thanks for letting me.
Appreciate it. All right, next we have the quarterly strategic plan update.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. For this committee, quarterly reports can be found if you're on your iPad, page 25. If it's a paper copy, it's page 24. The one action plan item, goal number 19, the community investment strategy, is assigned to both this committee and to Public Safety and Justice Committee. You'll note no activity in the report because this project is scheduled to kick off in Q1 of 2025. So won't see any activity until March of next year when we give you the Q1 report for 25. Happy to answer any questions about anything else in the report, though.
Any questions? Okay, we will move along to the one resolution that we have, and that is the Illinois Emergency Management Mutual Aid System Intergovernmental Service Agreement. Can I get a motion to put it on the floor, please? Thank you, Member Duncan, and a second by Member Blair. Welcome back, Jason.
Welcome back. So I'll just share briefly. So the agreement that we're looking to sign and become a part of is just a mutual aid agreement with local emergency management agencies or emergency service agencies across the state. It's similar to, you may be familiar with the mutual aid agreement, the public health department. So we have a mutual aid agreement, Illinois Public Health Mutual Aid System, IFMIS is the acronym. Law enforcement has a mutual aid agreement, ILEAS for law enforcement. I think highway departments, IPWAMAN, that's mutual aid. MABUS is fire. There's a post-September 11th, we identified it, again, there's just a need. It's easier for us to, what we'd like to be able to do is reach across jurisdictional boundaries when able and have my colleagues or counterparts from other counties come and assist us. And this just minimizes some of the, just makes it a little easier when we request assistance. So the state's attorney's office is currently reviewing that agreement just to ensure that it doesn't, that they're comfortable with it. And I think we're one of a handful of counties across the state that haven't signed on to the agreement yet. So that's all it's about.
All right, any questions? No? Okay. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, next, any public comment? Miscellaneous? Okay, we're adjourned.